Alrighty, guys, welcome back to our second Chair League match of the night. This one, yet another Division 2 match here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Will be Team AFK versus Scratch'em, and I don't think my partner Plague's quite back yet. So, yep, for sure not back yet. But gonna be flying this one solo, which is okay. You know, we can live, we can do this. We'll all be okay. I know you miss it. I know I'm just no replacement. But that's okay. We'll figure it out and we'll continue on. But until then, for now, we are seeing the Zagara ban coming out from the side of Team AFK, and the response ban, of course, Kael'thas. Nobody wants to let anyone have Kael'thas in this game ever, which makes a lot of sense, especially on this map. He's got good, solid wave clear, as well as good turn in denial. And the Tassadar first pick is actually kind of come out from Team AFK. Tassadar, a very strong hero in general, has a lot of good stuff to his kit. Very popular at the top of the game in the pro, in a lot of the pro matches. We see him picked a lot and prioritized a lot here. Zagara, also a very good ban coming out from AFK, being able to deny that vision that Zagara gives on this map with that turn in pressure can be so key. We'll have to see how Scratch'em wants to go ahead and respond to this. Lot of really great heroes out there still. Li Ming still open. Obviously, you know, Thrall, Rhaegar, and there it is. Rhaegar is going to be that first pick, picking up the, in my opinion, the best support in the game. Certainly the best solo healer in the game, as we saw in that last match, very beautifully used by Bedroom Donkey, as they were able to secure that win for the away team using Rhaegar as their main healer. And then just in general, Rhaegar, he's been my main for quite a long time as a support main. He's just got so much in his kit that's so powerful with Chain Heal, being able to keep your entire team up at least long enough to be able to really do some damage. And then we're also seeing the Sylvanas pick up. You know, a very strong. It's almost like Scratch'em watched this last match to see what was going on. Rhaegar Sylvanas was the opening pick for the opening two picks there for Bedroom Donkey as well. Just completely passing up Li Ming here for the strong healing powers of Rhaegar, as well as the strong pushing power that Sylvanas can provide. We say it pretty much every time we see Sylvanas come out in these drafts, but but he's very but Sylvanas is very good at being able to aid the push of these big map objective type pushers, you know, with the Punishers, with the in this case the Web Weavers. So she's going to be able to shut down those towers and get a lot of extra push for the side of Scratch'em. Meanwhile, we do see Li Ming picked up by Team AFK. It was only a matter of time. Usually Li Ming doesn't go very far in these drafts, being one of the strongest artillery heroes in the game. Arguably the strongest mage. She does certainly have the biggest burst potential for any of the mages that can stay safe. You know, Jaina theoretically can burst a little bit stronger than her, but she has no escapability. She is not safe in this game right now, and that's why we've seen, unfortunately, Jaina really fall to the wayside. And we're going to see Johanna picked up by Team AFK. Definitely the strongest wave clear tank in the game, so always nice to see Johanna coming out on Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think prioritizing her is always a really good option. We'll see the Illidan ban coming out from Scratch'em. Illidan, a very good combo with actually Rhaegar, but also, you know, a good combo with Tassadar. That's really the important thing to note here, is that Illidan, with the support of Tassadar and one other decent healer, you know, like an Uther or a Rhaegar, or you know, even something like a Kharazim, Tassadar really enables Illidan to be able to go in deep and not be quite as vulnerable as he normally would be. And we'll see the ETC ban come out from Team AFK. I think ETC probably has to be one of the most popular second bans that I see. Whenever we see a tank chokehold, a lot of times we see teams try to deny that ETC because of his CC and his utility, along with being a very strong damage soaker and being a tank. So he's good at that in general, and very good for aggressive dive comps, which, you know, when you see Rhaegar on a team like Scratch'em, a a lot of times that indicates that they're going to tend to go divey. Rhaegar pairs well with all the divey heroes, and there we see it. Thrall, one of the best diver heroes in the game, able to sustain himself with his self-healing, as well as putting out a lot of damage and having great engage potential with Sundering. So we're probably going to... We still need to see them pick up a tank here. And they don't have a big burst damage dealer yet, but we'll have to see what exactly they want to do as far as that goes. Seeing as how Johanna's been picked for the side of Team AFK, Scratch'em doesn't really have to pick up their tank here. They could definitely prioritize whatever damage dealer they want, as Team AFK is probably about to pick a damage dealer in their last two, so being able to figure out what they want could be good. But if they want a burst damage dealer, Team AFK already has the Li Ming, so likely the only thing that we're going to see Team AFK pick up later on in the draft here are support damage, and so we're going to see Falstad, who's kind of your perfect hybrid. He can be a burst damage dealer, but he can also be a sustained damage. It's all in how you decide to build him. Global presence is never a bad thing. Tomb of the Spider Queen is probably one of the smallest maps, and ergo is probably one of the maps where global presence is prioritized the lowest, but it is still prioritized. And on a snowbally map like this, being able to make aggressive rotations with Falstad's global presence is very powerful, where you can get a couple picks here and there early game. And pretty much an identical comp we're seeing from Scratch'em to what we saw out of Bedroom Donkey in our last cast just moments ago. I'm going to see Brightwing come out for Team AFK. Brightwing, a very good secondary healer to Tassadar. Tassadar, they enable each other, right? You know, Tassadar has shields that are constantly coming out, constantly flowing every 3-4 seconds. I forget the exact cooldown on that. It might actually be 5, but it's very constant being able to throw those shields out. And Brightwing is able to have the constant AoE tick healings. So, while Tassadar's shield is on someone, Brightwing's able to slowly tick heal up. And a Murky pick is going to come out from Team AFK. This is going to be the first time that we've seen Murky in my casting. Murky is a great hero in terms of being able to push and pressure. And please tell me that that's not fake. That's we've had some issues with Top Drafter here, but here I'm gonna go ahead and type this in lobby. Please tell me that Murky is a real thing, because we have seen some issues. Even the hammer on the last time around. We are gonna see the tank come out here from Scratch'em, and Anubarak's a really great pick with a dive comp. He's able to dive in deep, get a lot of extra CC and value out of that. And a pretty good counter to Li Ming also. Li Ming with the orbs and the missiles. A lot of those get soaked up by Anubarak with his dampened magic, as well as his scarabs, which are able to constantly come out and get in the way of those abilities. But Murky, a very, very interesting pick here. We'll have to see how Team AFK decides they want to actually use this Murky pick, making me very, very happy to see a very unconventional draft coming out of them, but a pretty much completely conventional draft coming out of Scratch'em, possibly with the exception of Anubarak instead of maybe Muradin as their main tank. Anubarak is still pretty deep in the meta right now. I wouldn't say that he's a rogue pick here by any means, but also with having Sylvanas is always a big priority for me on this map personally, as a player or as a shot caller, being able to shut down those turrets and aid the push of the web weavers. And I do really like the potential for Team AFK's draft here as a counter to the divey nature of Scratch'em, though. But ultimately, I do think Scratch'em, with Falstad, with the divey nature, is going to be able to control these team engages. We always see that be such a priority, especially on maps like this where there's a turn-in mechanic here and on, and of course on Blackheart's Bay, which is in a lot of ways kind of a similar map to Tomb of the Spider Queen, in terms of how the map objectives go. So being able to control when and if they want to engage is going to be a big deal. And I think that ultimately I'd have to give the draft up to Scratchum. I like the Murky pick. I really, there's a lot of things to be very happy about from the side of Team AFK there, but I'm just not sure if they're going to be able to compete with the raw power that I see coming out of Scratchum's dive comp here, and being able to play to the map as well. So we'll see how this match goes. The double support sustaining is going to be able to enable Li Ming to be able to do some things to the single support Rhaegar, but the only real burst damage is going to be coming from Li Ming, and if Rhaegar is able to hit those Ancestrals, it's going to be kind of ugly, I think, in a lot of these team fights where Li Ming's going to use that burst, and she doesn't have a ton of renew to that burst. It's every 6 or so seconds that she's throwing out those orbs. Of course, she can get that level 4 talent. They can get the cooldowns coming out more, but inevitably, most Li Mings just run out of mana before they're able to really control a team fight in a double support comp like this. So we'll see how it works out. We are loading in here onto Tomb of the Spider Queen. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. That is the wrong screen. There we go. And we do see Team AFK is going to be your blue team on the left side of the screen. Let me go ahead and get these teams introduced for you. First of all, we got Team AFK. Bagloom is going to be playing Tassadar. T-Suits on Johanna. Crowthorn on Li Ming. Ash on Brightwing. And Lie to Me is going to be on Murky. Meanwhile, the red side, we're going to see Scratchum on the right side of the screen. It's going to be Quosnar on Falstad. Happy Feet on Rhaegar. Ronaldo on Sylvanas, Dida on Anubarak, and Zabatok on Thrall. The aggressive fly-in there from Falstad, being able to get that instant vision. But Tassadar's Oracle is going to go ahead and give a perfect picture of where Scratchum is hiding in these bushes. Lie to Me also going in a little bit there on Murky, try and get a little harass out. And just in general, both teams just kind of jockeying for position. A nice orb hitting Sylvanas there, chunking a little bit of that health, but nothing Happy Feet can't handle early in the game here. And a nice engage. Both solo soakers going down to the bottom. We're going to see Murky versus Thrall down there. Johanna getting a little bit far in here, but ultimately does hit all 4 members with that Condemn, slowing them down a little bit. But we'll see the rotation. These 4-man rotations are going to start. A little bit of an advantage for Scratchum here with Sylvanas, able to get a little extra push out. But and another very aggressive Condemn there. Ronaldo getting very, very low on Sylvanas. We're also seeing Li Ming get very, very low, but both of them are going to be able to get back and be able to get a little bit of support from their healers here. But ultimately, Brightwing and Tassadar are not able to heal up the wounds quite as quickly as Rhaegar can. It's going to take some time with Li Ming having to get back there to get those heals from Brightwing. But we are going to see the aggressive rotation here. Happy Feet is caught out on Rhaegar, but with that instant mount ability, Doggy can run as he's able to get out of there and is going to actually re-engage here, getting a little bit of harass on Brightwing. But some of the members of Scratchum getting a little bit low here. They're going to end up backing off here as Anubarak doesn't have a whole ton of health left. They got the wave clear that they really needed. And so we're eventually going to see them go ahead and rotate back up to the top. Both teams just rotating here, trying to make sure they're not missing too much soak, trying to catch these lanes. And in general, so far, Scratchum doing a really good job of being able to. We do see Murky going down in there at the bottom. Not a huge deal though. He's just going to spawn right back up and get right back into the fray on Thrall here. But we do see Scratchum getting a little bit of an advantage in the rotation, being able to control where you are in that push process here on top is a really big deal, as you're able to see vision and keep tabs on whether or not the enemy team is turning in, meaning the only real viable option for the other team when they want to go turn in is their ability to just rotate to the bottom, assuming that whoever's solo soaking that bottom lane isn't keeping tabs on it, like a Zagara or even a Tassadar can at times when they're soaking that bottom. But members of Team AFK getting pretty low here, getting a lot of harass out there from Scratchum. And Tassadar is going to end up going down, staying over that wall a little bit too long. The return orb, it's going to chunk Falstad quite a bit here, but he's just going to back up to the shadows. He's going to be it. And with that global presence, he'll be able to fly back in. He'll be back soon. Happy Feet and Dida for the side of Scratchum going up to top, soaking that top lane. Not a whole lot of big action going on here. Tassadar is the first real kill of the game. I mean, we've seen a couple of kills from Murky, or onto Murky, I should say, from Thrall. But ultimately, that's not really that big a deal. Murky's meant to be able to get in here, and the real problem that I can see here is the gems being dropped. If Murky can't get in here in enough time to pick up all these gems, they are going to end up losing gem soak. Ooh, but in the middle we do see Johanna go down there, as well as Li Ming, a very strong engage, and we're seeing Sylvanas paying dividends here, able to shut down these towers, allowing Scratchem to get a lot of pressure out here. They're going to dive in deep after Brightwing, and Rhaegar able to jump in there and get those butt-biting plays that really love to see out of Rhaegar's, that they're so well known for. But is going to end up getting that last hit in on Brightwing, and that's the power of Sylvanas, not just being able to push with the web weavers, but also being just a terror in the 4-man rotation. When you start to get an edge in a certain lane, you can really start to push it, and we are going to see the first turn into the game secured by Scratchem, as they do have the level 7 talents, which are also going to allow them a little bit of extra pressure as they try to push in here. We are going to see Rhaegar rotate to the bottom and pick off Murky yet again. That's got to be a little bit annoying, but ultimately that's what Murky's for. We are going to see a nice CC coming out there from Anubarak, being able to get a little harass on Brightwing, going to force him to drop back and tap well. But we are going to see Scratchem go ahead and aid this top Webweaver push, as Sylvanas is able to shut down the front wall towers here, and they're going to just carve through those like a knife through butter. But we are going to see them start to back up a little bit, as they are getting a little bit low here. Sylvanas and Anubarak not having a ton of health. Falstad's still pretty healthy. He's going to stay in to try and put some harass out. Maybe overstaying as well, a little bit too much here, but a little more harass coming out from Li Ming onto Anubarak. But Anubarak able to soak that spell damage pretty easily. They are going to get a lot of damage done up on this top fort, but ultimately the mid one was cleared pretty well without too much extra damage. We already saw a little bit of damage being done to that mid fort by Sylvanas and friends earlier, but ultimately they are able to get these web weavers down and able to reset here and try to start to soak some XP here. They're a little bit behind on XP. I think a lot of that has to do with the kill count, but I do also believe that Scratchem has been out-soaking them as well. And we're going to have to see how the turn-ins go here. Murky going down yet again. But we are seeing the engage here in the mid. A big collapse onto Johanna, as we see the aggressive fly-in, and the hammer is going to fall down on Brightwing. Brightwing going to be taken out here. And Brightwing getting caught a little bit out here a few times this match so far. And yet again, a lot of pressure being put this time on the front wall for this mid keep, and Sylvanas just being able to shut down these towers as soon as one of these members of Team AFK go down. We're seeing a lack of hesitation by Scratchem to really go in and get the job done on being able to get the pressure and capitalize on these picks. And a huge hammer coming out there, putting a lot of pressure out. Tassadar and Brightwing are able to keep them alive for the most part, sporting here, but a hammer is going to come out and take Murky down. Murky getting a little bit too hyphy after Falstad there, but again, it's Murky. He's right back to his thing in the bottom. Maybe he was just trying to have a quicker approach to the bottom there. He figured, that's my global presence mechanic. I'll go ahead and get down there, but we are seeing a severe problem here in Team AFK's team design here, is that they have really, I don't know that they've gotten any real value out of the gems being dropped in bottom lane. Murky's been constantly the only one soaking that bottom lane, and I don't know if he's really secured any turn-ins, but he's constantly dropping those gems from the death mechanic that you see in general from Murky, which is not a problem in any other fact than the fact that they may not be getting very many gems off of that. We're going to see the aggressive rotation to the top here, able to yet again shut down this tower with Sylv to really get a lot of value out of this top web weaver. And level 10s have been picked up already, of course, on the side of Scratchem here, even a level 11, as they're almost to 12. And Team AFK isn't even level 10 yet. They haven't picked up these ults. There's not really a whole lot they can do. Pretty standard ults. The only real one that steps out a whole lot is, well, actually, Falstad electing to go Hinterland's Blast, which is interesting, as well as a Nubarak coming out with Web Wrap, which is going to give them the ability to further isolate these heroes. And a ton of harass coming out onto Tassadar there from Falstad. A huge and aggressive dive-in there from a Nubarak, maybe going a little bit too deep here, but ultimately we are seeing this team, Scratch'em, realizing what a huge advantage they have on this map right now, able to push them back far enough that this Webweaver getting a ton of value in the top lane. Murky rotating around to get the other two out, but Johanna is going to go down there. Very nice play there by Scratch'em, going to secure themselves the first 4 of the game, and the continued harass, the continued burst damage coming out from Falstad. Murky going down yet again, but they are continuing to push here. They're actually pressuring a little bit here, posturing as if they were maybe trying to go for core, but they are going to end up backing out here. Very smart rotation to be able to go ahead and get out. They do have the 13 advantage, so for pretty much the rest of this game at this point, Scratch'em looking at quite possibly having the talent tier advantage, which is going to be huge for them. They're snowballing this very, very efficiently, and that's what those early game picks really allow you to do. When the opposing team isn't able to secure turn-ins because they're constantly dropping gems, when the opposing team isn't able to really soak lanes as much because their members are on death timers, that's how a lot of these maps get snowballed so quickly. And we are seeing them in general with these quick rotations to be able to scout out these turn-in attempts. Very good goaltending coming out here from Scratch'em so far, and they are just controlling this map with their big engage potential, their big dive potential, able to get these picks. And we are seeing yet another Sundering come out here, and a Web Wrap is going to come out. I believe that it was Li Ming in the Web Wrap, but they are going to knock that Web Wrap down very, very efficiently, and is going to get them out of there. A nice defense there from the side of Team AFK, showing signs of life here. Not ready to give up just yet. Still working really, really hard on their side, and looking to defend this mid push with this camp. That's really the only thing Scratch'em really has to do right now. Is they do start to collect gems. We are seeing Sylvanas taking advantage of this bottom camp here, but the fight rages on in the mid as they're just really trying to waste time. They're enabling Sylvanas to be able to shut down that tower and get just massive amounts of value on that bruiser camp. We're going to see a nice Ancestral coming out there saving Thrall, and Li Ming getting in way too deep. In my opinion, the Calamity build has really stayed its course in the meta. I think it's all about the missile build nowadays, but even with Calamity, you just can't get that deep in against an aggressive dive comp like this, especially when you're so far down. We'll see Tassadar go down to a very, very nice Hinterland's Blast there with the combo. Somebody is web wrapped there as well. I do believe that might be Brightwing. Or no, I'm sorry, that must be Tassadar in there. Murky? I don't know. I don't know what I'm seeing anymore, to be honest with you. But we are seeing the mid keep going down here in the bottom lane. That siege camp is not quite done getting value yet with the ammo completely drained, getting a ton of value there. They are just 1 gem shy of being able to secure their 3rd turn in a row and of the game. Is Scratch'em being very, very dominant here. 11 kills to 0 thus far. An absolutely incredible dominating effort here from Scratch'em thus far, but we'll have to see what they want to do next. Murky's going to go ahead and go up and check out whether or not the boss is coming up, and unfortunate for the little guy, the team wasn't really doing boss. They were just kind of milling around up here. They might consider doing boss now, as they are able to see exactly where Team AFK is, but a brilliant move here. It looks like they are going to just go ahead and bait this, but we are going to see a Nubarak show. He's going to come out to see if he can catch anybody with that. We are going to see the Web Weavers turned in there by Sylvanas, and they were maybe thinking of going for a boss and turn-in combo play there, but ultimately they ended up trying to just bait it, but weren't able to quite get enough of Team AFK into that, or far enough in to really pick anybody off. Murky taking a lot of harass there, but this is going to be a tough defense here with 3 levels down. Murky going down pretty much instantly. Leeming trying to get in there to do some damage, but she's going to get web wrapped right out of that disintegrate, and the dive potential really coming in here. Johanna in a lot of trouble. Brightwing's going to end up going down to Falstad here. Sylvanas is going to make it back, but Tassadar goes down. Murky going down as well. And these this top and mid Webweaver is pushing in here, and so is Team Scratch'em. A little bit of harass here on Happy Feet for Rhaegar, but that's not going to be enough to stop this. This push is going to be too much. And that is going to end up being GG here. All the pressure coming in from Scratch'em. A very great game. Just a lot of pressure. Staying true to what their comp was built to do, which was diving in, aggressing really, really hard. And I just don't think Team AFK had drafted the tools to really deal with that. Doing their best throughout the game, but I think it was just a drafting issue. Looking at where maybe they could have drafted differently. I think the Johanna pickup was really solid as a good peeler. Leeming, always good at deterring dive heroes with her burst, but Tassadar is able. You got to think about what Tassadar does, right? In a comp, Tassadar's main goal is usually to enable a divey hero. But who's the diver? Is it Murky? Murky doesn't really do a whole lot of damage, so that's kind of rough. He can get a lot of siege damage out. He's good for annoyance and turn in denial and all those good things, but not quite the hero they needed here. I think something like a Sonya, even something like a Kerrigan might have worked if they had a healer that had a little bit more burst heal potential than Brightwing, maybe an Uther. And that's the other thing is Brightwing as a healer trying to heal against the bursty, divey nature, especially with Falstad. Falstad just deals too much burst damage for Brightwing and Tassadar to be able to deal with here. So just overall a really solid draft and execution coming out from Scratch'em. Big ups to them. Congratulations for the big win on Tomb of the Spider Queen. And we are going to close up this one just a little bit early. I'm going to give you guys the talent snapshot as always. Just a quick look at the shameless self-promotion. We're going to be right back very, very quickly here with a Division 3 match that is going to be going on starting in about 5 minutes. So I'm going to try and turn this one around quick, and I will be back very, very soon, guys. Thanks for joining us for this one, and I'll see you in a few.